Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alexis, and today, as you can tell by the title of this YouTube video, we are going to be going over my 25 books I want to read in 2025. This video is coming out a little bit later than I'd like. I filmed it a while ago, and then when I went to edit it, I had lipstick all over my teeth, so we're back today to refilm it. Okay, let's go ahead and hop into the book. First on my list is probably an author everyone's heard about. She's everywhere, and surprisingly, this will be my first book by her. This is Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I'm just afraid I won't like it, but we're gonna read her this year. This book follows our main character, Alexis. She is, I believe, an ER doctor, and one day her car breaks down in a small town and she meets our other main character, Daniel, who is a carpenter. Daniel is the complete opposite, but she finds herself falling for him and trying to decide whether or not she wants to be part of his world. People love Abby Jimenez, so I'm hoping I can soon join the club. All right, book number 2 is a contemporary fiction book, and that is Butter by Asako Yuzuki. I hope I'm saying her name right. I'm so sorry. I'm not the best at pronouncing people's names. So this book sounds really interesting. So the gist of it, there's our main character, Rika. She's a journalist, and she starts writing this woman who is in prison for being a serial killer. She was luring men into her home by cooking for them and then killing them. But she refuses to talk to the press. She refuses to talk to any journalists. But one day Rika writes her asking about, I think, what is it? A recipe, just a random recipe, a beef stew. And they end up like having this correspondent and developing like a relationship. This was based on a real story. Like this is true. I don't know, this book just seems so unique and so interesting. And I love the cover. I know people say don't judge books by the cover. This cover looks so amazing. It has like this metallic kind of finish on the blood on the side. I don't know, I just find it really interesting and I can't wait to really get into it. Okay, my next book is also another contemporary fiction, and it's probably one of my most anticipated reads of the year, and that is Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. I have heard nothing but good things about this book, and I'm so excited to read it. I don't know, initially I thought I wouldn't like it, but I've heard so much hype on this book. I haven't heard anyone say that they don't like it. So this book follows our main character. Her name is Tova, and after Tova's husband dies, she gets a job at a local aquarium just to kind of deal with her grief. And her son also mysteriously vanished one day while out at sea. So she's just, homegirl's depressed. Also at this aquarium is a giant Pacific octopus, I believe. His name is Marcellus, and he's quite intelligent, as most octopuses, Marcellus is very smart. That's the point I'm trying to get to. Anyway, him and Tova end up having a friendship that unfolds throughout the length of the story. And he is so smart that he figures out what has happened to Tova's son, but he's an octopus. He can't tell her. So he's trying to figure out a way to tell her before it's too late. And I don't know what they mean by it's too late. That's what it says, before it's too late. I don't know what that means. It's kind of ominous. Okay, the next books on my list are actually by the same author. They're probably the most talked about fantasy book of 2024. This is Fourth Wing and Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. I'm trying to read both of these before the third book comes out at the end of January. These books follow our main character. Her name is Violet, and Violet spent her whole life pretty much thinking that she was going to be, I believe, a scribe or like a librarian, and she was just gonna live a nice peaceful little life until her mom comes along and says, no, you're not gonna be a librarian, you're actually gonna be a dragon rider. And so she's kind of thrust into an academy that is training her to be a dragon rider. There's also some romance in here. That's something to look forward to, but I'm super excited to read these, and I'm hoping I can like read them really quick so I can just jump in to the third book. But yeah, these are books number 4 and 5 on my list. So this next book is called How I'll Kill You by Ren DeStefano. Ren DeStefano. So this book is really cool. So our main character is Sissy, and she has some sisters, and her sisters are serial killers. And at this point in time, she just cleans up after them. She hasn't killed anyone. But now they're like, hey girl, it's your turn now. Like, you're gonna be part of the family business. But I guess a tradition in their family is that you first have to find a man, make him fall in love with you, and then you kill him and that is your first kill. This just sounds so interesting, and I don't know, reading it, it kind of seems like if she doesn't kill him, like her sisters might, or she's gonna have to kill her sisters. I don't know. It just sounds really, really interesting, and I can't wait to read this one, but it's giving Valentine's Day vibes, so this might be a February read. At number 7, this is gonna be my first young adult pick for my TBR of 2025, and that is Light Lark by Alex Astor. This book, I don't know why I haven't read it. I feel like I'm probably the last person to read this book. So this book is essentially about an event called the Centennial, which of course happens every 100 years. So on that day, the island of Lightlark appears, and for 100 days, the rulers of different realms will fight for 100 days to essentially get rid of their curses that they have and to win unparalleled power. It kind of sounds a little Hunger Gamesy. I love the Hunger Games, so anything that has like a fight to the death, I will be reading it, and I probably will enjoy it. Hopefully there's some romance in it. I don't think there is. Maybe. Oh, it says, even as love complicates everything. I love a romance. It doesn't have to be too much. Just a little bit, little dash. It also sounds like, did you guys read the games Gods Play? That also has like the Hunger Games type aspect to it. I'm hoping this is another 5-star read, you guys. Number 8 on our list is a science fiction thriller, and that is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. This book is also an on-screen adaptation on Apple TV as well. I want to read the book before I watch it, but this book follows our main character, Jason, and Jason is just a regular college professor. He has a wife, he has a son. Everything's chill. He's just living this totally chill, happy life. Until one day he is, I think he's like kidnapped and hit over the head. And when he wakes up, he is not in the same world or the same reality that he was in before. So he wakes up and everyone's like, hey, welcome back. And he's like, what do you mean, welcome back? Come to find out, he's like this world-renowned scientist. And Jason's kind of like, yeah, I want my wife back. I want my son. Like, I want my old job back as a college professor. They're like, none of that is real. They don't exist. So this book is essentially about him finding his way back to his old life because that's the life he wants. I'm not entirely sure like if he can do that because it's not real, or is it? I'm genuinely confused, and I think that's gonna be good going in. Is this life real, or is the other life a dream, or vice versa? It just sounds very interesting, kind of like Inception-y. So this next book is a YA science fiction book, and this author is one that I really, really, really wanted to get into, but his books low-key intimidate me, so I decided to start with one of his YA books before I jump into like his adult science fiction books, and that is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. I already went ahead and bought the other books because I know I'm gonna love it. So in this book, we are living in a world that has been constantly under attack for decades. And our main character, her name is Spencer. She wants to be a pilot just like her father because the pilots are the only people who are protecting this world from this alien race called the Krell. One day while Spencer's father is out, there is an invasion and he is caught running away and is shot down and labeled a coward. This label follows Spencer and her family literally her whole life. She's known as the coward's daughter, essentially. But she wants to be a pilot just like her father so bad. So this book follows Spencer and her journey to become a pilot, even with her tarnished name. This is gonna be a whole journey, and I'm really excited to finish this up and finish out the series, and then probably start on some of his other books too this year. Coming in at number 11 is Una Out of Order by Margarita Montemor. This book follows Una, and on Una's 19th birthday, when the clock strikes midnight, she wakes up decades in the future. And this continues every single New Year's Eve. She wakes up at a different part of her life, whether that be 50 years in the future, childhood. She doesn't know what part of her life she's gonna be thrust into next. This book sounds, I feel like it's gonna be sad. I don't know why, but I feel like it's gonna be sad, or like the type of book where like each part of her life is a different lesson. I feel like this is gonna be sad. The back says it's heart-wrenching, and it says it's an unforgettable story about the burdens of time, the endurance of love, and the power of family. But you know, I love a good cry. If a book can make me cry, it's gonna be a 5-star read. All right, book number 12 is a romance, and it's a book that I've seen everywhere, and I swear to God, if I don't like it, I'm coming for all of y'all, because I see it everywhere. I'm coming for Book Talk, I'm coming for BookTube, I'm coming for everybody, and that is Wild Love by Elsie Silver. I don't even know what this book is about. I just want to go into it blind. I know this is a part of a series. I don't know how many books are in the series. I do have the second book. It's called, where is it? Wild Eyes. So hopefully I like this one and I can read the second one. I have a problem with prematurely buying multiple books of a series, and then sometimes I don't even like the series. So I'm praying that I like this. All I know about this book is that it's a small town romance. I'm guessing from the cover, in the mountains, and I just want to go into it blind. So that's this book. This next book is, I believe, an older book, and I've had it for a long time. I've just never read it. An Ember in the Ashes by, what is Sabaa Tahir? I'm hoping that's how you say her name. I believe the main character of this book, I think you pronounce her name Leia. It's spelled L-A-I-A. I'm gonna say Leia. Her and her family live under this empire that's super strict. People don't defy them, and if they do, it's over. So one day her brother is arrested for treason and she's gonna go get her brother back, but she ends up enlisting the help of rebels. So the rebels promise to help her brother only if Leia is going to infiltrate the war academy that they have. I'm not sure exactly how many books are in the series. I want to say 5 or 6. So I'm really hoping I like this and I can read this series this year. The next book on my list is The Wren and the Holly Library by K.A. Lind. I was recommended this book from a friend. I have no idea what this book is about. I usually just take people's recommendations blindly. Also, I really enjoyed the sprayed edges on this, which is another reason why I got it. I don't think I'll read it this month or next month. It sounds maybe like a March read. Yeah, we'll read this one in March. So next we have 2 books from an author that everyone loves and hates apparently, but I love her. So these are the last 2 books of the Throne of Glass series. This is Kingdom of Ash and Tower of Dawn. I started reading this series back in 2021 and stopped halfway through, and I never read the last 2 books. So I'm gonna try to read these 2 by the end of the year. Personally, it's been a while since I read the other books, so I'm probably gonna have to read the other books that came before this first and reread those because I don't know what has happened. I don't remember. So we're gonna read those and then read these, and so by the end of the year I will have finished this entire series. And these are some big boys. These are thick. So these are probably gonna take a while to read anyway. So I give the whole series that I've read thus far 5 stars. So I'm essentially expecting these to be 5 stars as well. And keeping in theme with Sarah J. Maas, we have A Crescent City. This book has been so intimidating for me just because, one, it's thick. This book is like 800 pages. So it's been pretty intimidating. I've heard a lot of people say that the bulk of this book is a lot of world building. It's just a lot, but once you get to the second book, it's a little better. So I'm hoping I like this, but I'm excited to read it and I hope I like it because I feel like I hear more hype about, obviously, ACOTAR and Throne of Glass, and I don't hear as much hype for this, but I'm excited to read it still. Next is a book I feel like is gonna make me cry, but again, I'm gonna need a good cry this year, and that is A Man Called Ove by Frederick Bachman, right? Yeah, Frederick. I know a little bit about this book already, and I also know it's on Netflix, but it's called A Man Named Otto on Netflix. I don't know why, unless maybe that's not even connected to this, but I'm pretty sure it is. But this book, I've heard so many people say it's just gut-wrenching and it's just sad. So this book follows Ove. He's an old man, he's grumpy, he lives by himself. I believe his wife has died. And he's just like a sad, miserable old man. And then one day he gets a family that moves in next to him, and they're just like this loud, crazy family with these 2 little girls, I believe. Really excited to read this. And I've heard that he is an excellent writer. So again, I'm hoping for another 5-star read. So this next book is a historical fiction, the first one that we've had so far, and that is Tobacco Wives by Adele Myers. So this book I found in Ollie's. It just sounded really interesting. So our main character, her name is Maddie, and she is a seamstress. Maddie ends up getting the role as the lead kind of dressmaker for all these elite women in this town. Starts like hearing things about these women, about their husbands, and some secrets in the town that they're living in. So I'm really excited to learn, one, what the secrets are and how she deals with them. This book is kind of different than what I usually read. I wanted to kind of throw in something a little different in there, a little razzle dazzle. Next is number 20, and that is The Prison Healer. I don't know what this book is about. I was watching this booktuber. Her name is Katie Whitruck, and she was doing her favorite books of 2024, I think the video was, and she recommended this book. And in her video, she said that she recommends going into this book blind. So based off the title and the picture, I'm assuming this takes place in a prison and there is a healer. Katie, if you're wrong, we're gonna have some problems. All right, coming in at number 21 is another contemporary fiction, and that is One of Our Kind by Nicola Yoon. I actually had the pleasure of meeting Nicola Yoon and hearing a lot more about this book and her writing process. So this book is about our main character and her husband. Her name is Jasmine, and they move to this town or city called Liberty, which is essentially like a Black utopia. So she moves here, she's thinking it's gonna be like, you know, she thinks it's gonna be cool. She thinks it's gonna be chill. Like everyone's like, you know, she gets there and it's not like that at all. People are like more focused on like booking spa appointments and getting massages. Like they're the complete opposite of what she thought. As Jasmine learns more about the town of Liberty and its founders, it gets creepy and it gets a little weird. So this is one that I'm hoping I can read sooner rather than later. Next is my second thriller on this list, and that is The Institute by Stephen King. I read my first Stephen King book last year and I absolutely loved it. I'm like, no wonder people like this man. So this book is about a young boy named Luke, and one night his parents are murdered and he is taken to a dark room that looks exactly like his but with no windows. Come to find out, there's a lot of other kids like that, and they all have these special abilities, and the people who have kidnapped them are trying to force these abilities out. So Luke is desperately trying to find a way out, even though no one has ever escaped from the Institute before. I'm super excited to read this. I hope I love it. Again, I hope it's another 5-star read. Number 23 on our list is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin. I'm so sorry, Shelby. I, as you can tell, sometimes don't know what books are about, but I buy them. I know this book has been out for a while and I don't know why I didn't read it, but I heard Enemies to Lovers and I said this book is for me. And I heard that the dialogue in here is extremely funny. It's witty. I don't want to read too much about this book. I know it has a witch and a witch hunter, and there's magic in here. Give me a little magic, give me a little romance, and you got me. Number 23 is by one of my favorite young adult authors, and it is Unwind by Neal Shusterman. Neal Shusterman wrote one of my favorite series, and that's called Scythe. If you haven't read it, read it. If you don't want to read it, I don't want to talk to you. This book is dystopian, which is right up my alley. So in this book, it's taken after the Second Civil War, and the Second Civil War was about reproductive rights, and a little close to home. I guess you don't have rights to your body until you hit a certain age, and I think that age might be 18. And between the ages of 13 and 18, your parents can essentially unwind you, which is essentially voluntarily / involuntarily giving your organs away to donors. But I love Neal Shusterman. I love his writing, so I know I'm gonna like this book. And last but not least, here is book number 25, Just as the Sun is Going Down and I'm Losing the Light. This book just arrived 20 minutes ago because I had to order it on Amazon for this video, but that is A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. And I know there's a second book that's either out or coming out really, really soon. So I'm hoping I like this, and then I can read the second book and let you guys know what I think. And then, you know, give you a more in-depth review of what it's about, because right now I have no idea. I low-key love to go into books like either blind or halfway blind. I just kind of want to be surprised. It's kind of like when you watch a movie trailer and they give too much away in the movie trailer. I just want to go in with like a general idea of what's happening, but not too much. But you guys, that is the end of my video. Those were the 25 books I want to read in 2025. Hopefully those books get me a little closer to my goal of reading 100 books, which now that I'm saying out loud sounds a little bit crazy. Maybe I should dial it back to maybe like 75, but we're going bigger, we're going home. If you have any recommendations of what other books I should read, or if you've heard any good things about some of the books I mentioned, I would love to hear about it. Again, thank you for watching my video. If you'd like, you can subscribe and put your post notifications on so you know when I post new videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.